What is the best trash anime of the year so far? Well, if I had to take a guess and a bit of a gander as to what I've watched so far, I have a couple of contenders that's definitely up there. But if anything, I think this show right here that I'm gonna talk about, even given the worthless appraiser class, I'm actually the strongest anime, is probably gonna be up there as the best trash anime of the year, but maybe it won't be. And here's why. So, uh, even given the Warfare's Appraiser class, I'm actually the strongest, is a new anime series to come out of the winter 2025 season. I believe it's one of the last shows from this season I will be reviewing officially that's under the 12, 13 episode mark. I think there's a few more anime shows, but who's counting, right? But this is by Okuruto Noboru Studios, which is a pretty big studio in my opinion because this is a studio that has come out with some of the best trashy anime to come out within the past 5 years. And they honestly broke into the scene with possibly my favorite trash anime of this decade, with The Hidden Dungeon Only I Can Enter back in 2021, which is a show that to this day is like super high up there. I believe it was like my number one best trash anime of that year. And it ranked super high because this show was not only funny and stupid and hilarious, but this show was a game changer for its time for how much it was trying to be really weird and goofy and showcasing like what it had to offer. So with a show like this that came out of the gate running and I was super impressed with, I was laughing, I was having a blast with, it would be a while until they drop another good banger with Tomodachi Games the following year. Which, at the time when Tomodachi Games came out, this came out at a pretty critical time period when Squid Games, the big Netflix show, was also airing around this time period. So it's not surprising that Tomodachi Games did super well commercially and critical wise in a way. Because, like I said, a lot of the aspects of Tomodachi Games you'll find in Squid Games. And then I decided to get into two other shows that came out last year of 2024 by Okuruto Noboru Studios. First, we have Viral Hit, which came out of the spring of last year, and this show was another goofy attempt at um, trying to showcase like how being a viral YouTuber sensation is like full of consequences and like the struggles of how you gotta be up there. And this is like one of the first manhwa adaptations that this studio was able to handle pretty well, in my opinion. Yes, it's cliche, it's stupid, it does remind me a little bit of Tomodachi Games, but it was fine. And then we get to their last anime adaptation that I did watch, which was My Instant Death Ability So Overpowered, No One in This Other World Stands a Chance Against Me, which is once again another anime series about a dude who gets super OP skills and uses it in supposed hilarious way and just defeating his enemies, kind of like One Punch Man, but now it's like now he's just saying you die, now you die, and that's literally it. So, given Okuroto Noboru Studio's reputation, I went into their new anime, the Appraiser class anime, with pretty high hopes because Okuroto Noboru has been on a pretty good killing streak of like the best trash anime I've seen so far. However, I think after watching all 12 episodes of the show and even giving my praises to Honey Lemon Soda, which I also reviewed not that long ago, I think I can definitely say that this show isn't really up there with the best of the trash anime series to come out from their catalog. And again, don't get me wrong, I think the show is really good when it needs to be. There's some really cool, raunchy, trashy moments that make me want to laugh, that make me want to giggle. The fighting in this show is okay, it's subpar at best, but there's a lot of moments where it's taking itself not too seriously. It's not really pushing the envelope of what it means to be a trashy anime. And it feels like they're taking a lot of what happened from this anime series from last year and applying it to this show, which honestly was probably the worst move they could have done. And I went to the show thinking that, hey, it's going to be like, the hidden dungeon only I can enter, right? Because it had a similar premise and a similar concept and it did super freaking well at the time. But now, looking at this one, I feel like this show just feels super stale, really boring. It wasn't even funny at times. Like, I really went into the show hoping that maybe somewhere out there it's just gonna be something good or interesting about it, but I just didn't get much of it. For one thing, it's about a dude who essentially gets the worst job out there. So right off the bat, it's like a soul leveling ripoff. And essentially, he gets the worst job, which is the appraisal job, where all he does is simply appraise things, and you can either get something for a really good buck or probably get the worst freaking sell point out there. But basically, his whole goal is to just appraise stuff and see if it's worth a lot of money or not. And one day, the two people that this dude Ein works with essentially betrays him, and he falls into a pit, and then somehow he awakens with powers. And of course, his powers are incomplete, so he has to do a training montage to become a S-class hero. And sure enough, within a week, as the anime as depicted, he becomes the strongest appraiser in the world, to the point that he's able to take revenge, or I wouldn't say take revenge, more like he's able to beat his enemies, beat the people that wronged him, and finally doing good by being the hero that he always wanted to be. And that's pretty much the premise of it. Now, simultaneously, there's also a little bit of a side story going on in the show where, um, after the first two, three episodes, we go into a little bit of a side story detour where now it's about a main character trying to rescue all the tree Yagstrails from harm and making sure they reunite together into one that's a family as they always wanted to. And that's cool. That's fine. That's pretty typical. But at the end of the day, there wasn't really much to write home about with this show that made me laugh, that made me be like, oh my god, this is really dumb, yet this is like really, really enjoyable. Like it just wasn't hitting again. And it's such a shame because it had a really cool concept. I liked where it was going, and I thought that originally in the first initial episodes, like, okay, past this point, it's gonna get better. It's gonna get better. But instead, it just stagnated. It just became mid as a result. And I feel like at the end of the day, I am disappointed with the show. I feel like this could have been a really good, fun, bad, trashy anime show to talk about. But once again, after watching Honey Lemon Soda that came out prior this year, I think that Honey Lemon Soda just beats this show and doesn't even come close to Honey Lemon Soda for how trashy good it can be. So, yeah, I am disappointed, but at the same time, I guess it was worth the watch because I think that there's going to be better Okuruto Noboru Studio shows that's coming in the horizon in the near future, and I hope it's going to be better, and much more funnier than shows like this. So for me, I'm gonna have to be critical on this. I'm giving it like a strong two on it. It's just not good. It's just really boring, really bland, really mid, and honestly, at the end of the day, really, really forgettable. And yeah, that's about it. I'll see you on the next one. Later.